Okay, so
I'll tell you what, I got an idea to make this easier. Why don't you, where this lady is stood with it, sat with the camera, you don't need to move, darling. If one of you forms a line by there, and then we can have a line, and then you can, and then we don't have to keep.
We'll come up. You get money if you do this, all right?
Yeah.
not from me.
Anyone with a question, form a line behind Tom Baker.
Then go to Jared. He'll give you $2 for every person that. Just mention my name.
So my question for you is what is different about playing a role in the Doctor Who universe versus acting in more mainstream material? And how do you deal with that?
You have to use much more of your imagination for Doctor Who, because obviously there's no sort of real experience you can draw on to help you as an actor, I suppose. I mean, there are some roles, but for me, you have to use a lot more imagination. You have to sort of invest yourself into that universe.
Where's he going?
Is that enough?
What's he doing behind the
It's best you don't know yet.
I've been upstage many times, but this is getting ridiculous. I have to tell you. Someone's behind the sofa when you're trying to talk. I don't know what's going on.
It's very Doctor Who being behind the sofa.
There's a word that we have in our profession that I'm going to use now, which is what you're trying to do when you do like an episode of Doctor Who. It's called heightened reality, which is not naturalistic. So it's not your everyday sort of, normal TV show. It's got a sort of heightened reality, which means it's larger than life. There's a twinkle going on. There's certainly a twinkle in Matt Smith's eyes 24 hours a day, so and you get that on the set too. So everything's up a little bit. You're all up. So that's an answer to your question.
Yeah, I think you actually you got to live up to the program. I think, and I think that I'll go with Ian there. But you and especially with from the old series, we had a long time to rehearse. We had like a week and a half to rehearsal. But then when you come to the new series, it's time and time is money, money's time, and you really have to go in with a preconceived idea of your character and the way you're going to do it. You ain't got a lot of time to work with the other actors and build some sort of rapport with them.
Yeah, even moving from Torchwood, playing the same character in Doctor Who from Torchwood, we had to heighten it slightly. Doctor Who, the universe of Doctor Who has got its own specific atmosphere, I suppose, it's timbre. And yeah, even that, we had to tone it up, I suppose, from the Torchwood character, the same character, so we had to put that extra twinkle in, as Ian said.
Gareth, what was your favorite scene or episode to film in Torchwood, and why? And like, what's most fun for you?
Oh, there are lots. I loved driving the JCB, the forklift truck, and dumping John Barrowman off the edge of a cliff in a concrete block. Only because I was in a sci-fi show. I played a T-boy to a gang of alien hunters, and there I was in fluorescence and a hard hat, driving a JCB. And that's the magic of it. You don't know what situation you could end up in, but that was good fun.
My question is for you, Ian. Playing a character like Winston Churchill, who's so much a part of British history and such a big, larger-than-life figure already, but interacting with the Doctor and in the Doctor's world, how did you approach that?
I was lucky enough to do, my apologies again for people who came to see me yesterday. I'm going to go down the same sort of route now. I was doing a play at the National Theatre at the time. It was called Never So Good, and it was a play about Harold Macmillan, played by Jeremy Irons. And they offered me the part of Winston Churchill, strangely, which was great. So I'd already played him, and I'd done quite a bit of research. I'd seen a lot of the films that he'd been in, not he'd been in, but a lot of actors had played him in. He hadn't done many films himself at the time, but he'd done quite a lot of other things which were even better. So I did that, I listened to a lot of his tapes. I went to where he was born, which is Blenheim Palace. And I went to his graveside, and I remember going to his graveside. It was a dark November night. By the time I got there, it was quite dark. he's buried next to his wife, Clemmy, and there was strangely this little mist that came over while I was there. It was really spooky because a little mist came over the graveyard, and then I suddenly heard this little whisper that came up that said, "Don't fuck it up, boy." And really from there I just sort of grabbed those horns and went on with it, and then they offered me the part at the BBC because I'd done that, because I think some of the casting people snuck in and saw me do it on the stage. When you do it on the TV, you've got to bring it right down, obviously, because you can't do that bigger performance. You've got to make it more naturalistic, but also with the heightened reality. So that's how I approached it.
Hey, gentlemen.
Hey.
For all of you, this question. Being on Doctor Who, back in the 80s certainly, but especially today, doesn't just mean, acting work, but now you're part of the juggernaut. You're, assailed by fandom, strange, obsessed people like me, asked to travel around and answer questions and, be a part of this big party, basically. So I'm curious if you were ready for that, how you deal with that, and manage it with your other work, and so on. Thank you.
I came quite new, quite late to the circuit. I was about sort of 5 or 6 years ago, and I was called up by. I had a telephone call from a chap who was doing a convention in Glasgow, in Scotland. And there's these little things that said, "Dear Colin, my name is I can't remember the guy's name. We are having a convention, a Doctor Who convention. Would you be kind enough to be a guest and attend our convention?" And he left me a phone number, and I looked at it. I thought, "Wow, okay." So I phoned the guy up, said, "Hi, this is Colin Spall here. Thank you for your invite." I said, "But are you sure that anybody would know who the hell I am?" And he said, "I can assure you, Mr. Spall, they will." So I went, and they did. And it's been absolutely brilliant. I was a jobbing actor. I went along, got a job in Doctor Who, and then suddenly I'm in the States. I'm in Canada, and it's absolutely brilliant. Just thanks to you guys. Thank you.
Similarly, I've got friends who aren't necessarily into science fiction or Doctor Who back home and say, "Don't you find it a bit weird going to these conventions where all these obsessed people are there and they want your autograph and they're dressed up as the characters and they go to all these conventions all the time?" And I say, look, since I've been a member of the Whoniverse, I've seen more of the world than you can possibly imagine. I have a shrine to my character down at Cardiff Bay, and I feel like I've genuinely enriched people's lives with work that I've done when I meet them at these conventions. I love the Who fandom. I think it's amazing. I don't think it's weird at all. I'm really happy to be a member of the family.